Hi, and welcome to Connie's Clubhouse Chronicles. Today we're joined with Jose, who is here to talk to us a little bit about himself, what he enjoys about Connie's Club, and most of all, just share his story and his point of view of how he views the world, views things that happen from day to day, and overall get to know more about our members. So, to start it off, what we're going to do is we're going to get into it with a little introduction and some first impressions with Jose. Jose, why don't you tell us about yourself and who you are in your own words? What is something about yourself that most people don't know, or you would want them to know? Okay, that's interesting. That is a fun fact. Are there any other fun facts about yourself?
I'd be a great actor.
You could be a great, I could see that.
Mm,
Maybe because you have that like straight, like you can really fool people, right?
yeah.
Because you do have that stone cold Joker face. Okay. How did your journey or your passions begin when you were younger? Like what made you want to choose what you're doing for work, or what gives you a passion in life? Is it the job at Goodwill, right?
Yeah.
But you like it now though, right? You've been there how long? You said
Almost
4
4
years.
years. So,
Yeah. And you just recently we had talked about you had a like coworker that had been here and there. They'd been there the same amount of time, right? They started when you started and they just left,
yeah,
right?
they just left. Yeah.
So how is it now that that coworker's gone? Like, how do you feel? Like, is the environment different, same? What do you think?
It's more lonely because that coworker used to talk to me more.
Okay. Do you feel like you don't get to like mingle as well with are the other coworkers kind of newer?
No, I
So
still mingle with
okay,
some.
that's good. So how did your journey or your passion begin? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Yeah, it started a year ago when I bought my Black Crocs.
20 pairs?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I guess that would make sense because last time you had the blue and white ones with the clouds, right? You have your black ones, pink ones. What are the other ones?
And
That's
then
like the normal rotation I see you in are those three.
white one. And
Yeah,
then
I've seen the white one.
there's white but without blue ones, just pure white.
Okay. Have you seen those one Crocs where you can get like the Minions or like Monsters Inc? Like you can get them like characterized? Have you seen those ones?
Mm,
Yeah. Do you collect the charms too? Like the different, that you can put in the holes? Do you
yeah.
have those?
No, I don't.
So what made you say yes to sharing your story with us today? But also we've kind of talked about you doing this and starting it yourself because you're on social media a lot, just looking around and doing stuff, right? So it's kind of like a beginning of a road, right? That we've been talking about, which is pretty cool, right? So now we're going to kind of talk about your journey and kind of what shaped you into who you are, right? So, just from thinking back, right, into your earlier years or early childhood, what early experiences do you think had the biggest impact on who you are today?
Being alone.
What do you mean? Could
Like,
you explain what the term loner means?
like,
Yeah, okay. So you're just more reserved, right? More
yeah.
introverted, right? So one thing about Jose is when I met Jose, he was, what is it called? A hermit, right? The
Yeah.
term, that's what that was, right?
Mm.
So he wanted to be a hermit, and now he's like flourished into this individual who works most of the week and comes to social things. What do you think about your early childhood experience? How do you think that formed your social anxiety and wanting you to be a loner? Like, where do you think that comes from? Okay. Okay. You were bullied in school.
School, but my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of trauma then that
Yeah.
kind of shaped you to distance yourself, which is probably why you like to be a loner, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to get criticized and picked on when you're by yourself. I totally get that. So, do you want to share a defining moment that you think shaped the path that you are on, right? So, a little bit about Jose is he likes routine, he likes structure. He doesn't like to do the dishes, but he will do the dishes. But what are some things you think that, like, when you were in school or in high school or like when you were in ROTC, those sorts of things, what do you think helped shape you into who you are today? So maybe you were more isolating, right? Do you think that because of the bullying from not only your family members that you felt, but also the bullying from peers has made it so that way, for example, right, when we first met 4 years ago, you were like so closed off,
Yeah.
right? But when we had our social activity, you were like open, saying hi to people. Do you think that over these 4 years, just your interactions with roommates and peers has kind of shifted that social anxiety?
Yeah, it's gotten better. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. So, what are some of the challenges or barriers that you face along your way? How are people still now? Like, how are people mean to you now? Like, what do they do? Right? Because being picked on now looks different than it probably did when you were in school.
I
Yeah.
would be way better than I am now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think it also has to do like with what money you have or what access to services, right?
Yeah.
So for someone, for example, to say somebody who maybe has two parents who are caring about them, supporting them throughout their whole childhood may have a better opportunity to be more successful, right? Given you guys have the same disability, but different paths create different opportunities, right? So, do you think the things that you've learned, right, say over the past 4 years on how you view things going forward, like how you view resources, like how you gain access to them, you think that's gotten better as you've kind of gotten out and learned a little bit more? You're more active.
Yeah.
That's good. So, what keeps you going through those hard times? What's something that you feel helps you get through those hard times?
Like,
So, just to transition, then we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the growth that you've experienced over your life and how you think the experiences got you there, right? So, what are some of the most important lessons you feel you've learned on your journey? Medicaid's being cut, right? Or the benefits are changing, hours are being shifted, whatever. Do you think, say, going from being able to see me twice a week to only now being able to see me for an hour once a week, do you think that's going to affect any challenges that you face? Or do you think that it's going to, because then you're going to have to rely on your staff more?
yeah, it affects me.
Yeah. Do you, in what ways do you think it affects you? Okay. Yeah. Do you feel like your staff or staff in general, right, for anybody, like gives the support or, you know, wants to actually take you out and do things? Like, I guess what I'm saying is, do you think that, like, right, so we go out and we do stuff every time, right? I go out and we do things with other people. So do you think if the staff in general in residential seeing that side of like, hey, get your individuals out, get them in the community, do you think that would change the need to have such restrictions on services? Do you think it would modify it? Like if clients were able to have fun and be out in the community, do you think that would change a little bit? You think there'd be a lot more positivity?
Yeah.
So, how do you value or your perspectives change over time? So, what values do you have? I guess would be the first part of that question. Like, what things are important to you, right? And then, have those things that are important to you, have they shifted? Like through what the things you've learned over the course of the past few years.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do you think that is? Yeah. Do you think that something about, let's say, like your emotions, right? Or your mood? So do you think before, right, you started being active and we started doing group activities and we started being in the community, do you think that your perspective on like your ability to be happy or your ability to feel fulfilled, do you feel like that's being met? Do you feel like that's still kind of like up in the air? Or do you feel overall like you're getting more satisfied with like your ability to be social and your ability to come and go? Okay, that's good. Is there any sort of valuable like setbacks or learning moments that you have that you could think of that you'd want to share?
Setbacks, probably just dropping out of high school my senior year.
Yeah. Did you get your GED or anything?
Yeah, I got my GED.
Okay. So at least you finished, right?
Yeah.
Which is the main thing. So it's still on goal. Why do you regret dropping out and getting your GED? Like, why do you regret that decision?
Stood in Chicago, hear about it,
Yeah.
dropped out.
Yeah.
I guess it's not like I dropped out my freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think dropping out though and going into that program kind of gave you a saving grace that you needed? Because you also grew up in a very scary part of Chicago, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it was flowers and roses, right? So, one thing I remember too about you, Jose, is that safety and security were a big issue, right? Do you feel like over the from where you started, right, 4 years ago to where you are now with all the things that you've included in your day and with what we do and what you've been working on yourself, do you feel like your perspective has shifted a little bit in like the overall everyday safety, like your safety?
Yeah, I feel more safer now.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's a big question. I've always wondered because remember when you used to like sleep below the window and
Yeah.
with your flak and catheter and stuff,
Yeah.
and that seems like it was forever ago, but it wasn't. It was only like what 4 years ago, but it feels like it was a whole lifetime ago. That's crazy. What personal habits or mindset shifts have helped you grow? Yeah, you learn a lot. What's the most recent thing you've learned from you two? Couldn't name one too many. That's okay. So now we're going to kind of talk about any advice or inspiration that you would want to share with us. Any advice maybe you have for somebody who is going through what you've been through, right? So maybe there's somebody else who grew up in, not the safest area, maybe not Chicago, right? But still, there's places all over the nation that aren't safe, right? So if you were able to give advice to someone who's on a similar path, what kind of advice would you give them? Why would you say don't be a loner? Why do you say that? That's a good one. Yeah.
Be
Okay. Do you think it's because you started out by isolating yourself?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But that's a good reflection, right? Because you started out wanting to be by yourself and no one, and now you're like Mr. Social Butterfly. So that's a good adjustment. That's a good. I like that one. What keeps you inspired and grounded today? Okay.
The same position.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, shoot, look at some of these singers now, like Jelly Roll, right?
Mm.
He was in jail or prison or something like that, doing drugs, and now he's freaking living his life, right? So anything can turn around at any point in time. What about how do you define your successes, right? So for yourself, how do you define that? Yeah.
Mm.
That is success, right? If you could talk to your younger self, what would you say? Yeah, why invest in Bitcoin?
Because it was much cheaper back then to buy.
Yeah, now it's expensive. So what do you think's next for you, Jose? What do you think? Like, you have any goals, any projects, anything, like any trips you want to go on, anything? Okay. Okay. That'd be good. How can people connect with you or support you? Or do you want people to connect with you and try and befriend you? Or do you want to go to them at Connie's Clubhouse? Yeah. So they could reach out to you at Connie's or online,
Mm.
right? So one message that you want to leave with our listeners, if you could give them one message to send off, what would it be and why? Yeah. 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 I think that's great. And be kind is like kind of our motto, right? Because if you're not kind, then karma comes around to get you, right? Well, thank you, Jose, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone else, for joining. Please tune in for our next interview with Connie's Clubhouse participant or someone else. If you know anybody who would like to come on and share about their story or what they think about what's going on in the world or just share their perspective, please check us out on all social media platforms, like and subscribe. Thank you.